Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood is a dystopian novel set in the future society of Gilead, where women are oppressed and stripped of their rights.
The story follows Offred, a handmaid who is forced into sexual servitude to bear children for the ruling class.
As Offred navigates the oppressive regime, she remembers her past life and struggles to find hope in a world filled with despair and control.
In this presentation, we'll explore and outline several of the concepts found in The Handmaid's Tale, from religion and power to feminism and patriarchy.
Some important historical context when looking at The Handmaid's Tale is second-wave feminism and anti-feminism. Second-wave feminism primarily focuses on the ability for women to control their bodies, the right to have abortions, and the right for birth control. This is commonly seen in the novel as many of the women fight for these rights as they do not have these in the novel. However, anti-feminism is also typically seen in the novel as a few of the women and all of the men believe that women should only care and provide children and that they should not have any of the rights addressed in second-wave feminism.
Let's take a look.
I threw the magazines into the flames. It riffled open in the wind of its burning. Big flakes of paper came loose, sailed into the air, still on fire. Parts of women's bodies turning to black ash in the air before my eyes.
The material seen by Offred's mom represents second-wave feminism because at that time, a lot of second-wave feminists believed that women shouldn't be exploited for sex work industry. I've been fired.
No, I heard on the car ride home on the radio. I'm sure it's only temporary.
Did they say why?
I'm sure we'll get through it.
You don't know what it's like. It feels like somebody's cut off my feet.
It's only a job.
Well, guess you get all my money, and I'm not even dead.
You know I'll always take care of you.
Already, he's starting to patronize me.
In the scene where Offred's CompuCard gets canceled and she gets fired, it reveals the underlying deep-rooted patriarchal values even before the Gilead regime. To further show this, Luke is calm and collected when Offred's fired, and even saying that he'll take care of her, even though it's clear that Offred is really upset.
Her speeches were about the sanctity of the home, about how women should stay home. Serena Joy didn't do this herself, she made speeches instead, but she presented this failure of hers as a sacrifice she was making for the good of all.
This scene of Serena Joy clearly represents gender roles, as on the TV, she's arguing for one of the most common gender roles, that women should remain in the kitchen and at the home. However, this is ironic, as when she gets what she actually wants, remaining home and not having a job, she hates it. Tell them fresh for the eggs, not like last time, and a chicken, not a ham.
12 eggs. A piece of cheese. A brown thing that's supposed to be a steak.
Margaret Atwood argues that one of the major forms of power comes through language, and that's exemplified in this scene. Now that the women have no ability to read or write, they are not able to express any alternate opinion or read and write any coalition or differing ideology. And because of this, they're easily manipulated and controlled by the greater Gileadian society. Most of the old guys can't make it anymore. Or they're sterile.
The doctor scene is a clear example of fertility. In the Gileadian society, people are not allowed to say that men are sterile, therefore placing all the blame on women if their children are defect or have any deformities.
Blessed be the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the merciful. Blessed be the meek. Blessed are the silent. Blessed be those that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
I knew they made that up. I knew it was wrong, and they left things out too, but there was no way of checking.
Religion and theocracy are a common theme throughout Atwood's novel. In this scene, the commander takes away certain words from Bible quotes and keeps the Bible stored away from the women, keeping them ignorant and allowing them to be controlled by religion.
It's alright, it's Mayday. Go with them.
Them? This scene clearly represents compliance, as throughout the novel there are signs of rebellion through Mayday and Offgren trying to get Offred to rebel. However, in this scene, Offred quickly complies with what Nick says and just leaves to go with the van, even though she does not know what this means. At the end of the book, Offred has become completely compliant to what the people tell her to do.
You know that this city was a historical way station on what our author dubbed the Underground Female Road, or some of our contemporary historical wags have monikered the Underground Frail Road. If I may be permitted an editorial aside, allow me to say that in my opinion we should be cautious about passing moral judgment on the Gileadians. Gileadian society was subject to a great deal of pressure, demographic and otherwise, and was subject to factors from which we ourselves are now happily free from. Our job is not to censor, but to understand. As you can see in this last scene, even though this is hundreds of years after the collapse of Gilead, that women are still being mocked and society is backsliding into Gileadian conservative ideologies.
In conclusion, in Margaret Atwood's novel, The Handmaid's Tale, she leans heavily into the historical context of second-wave feminism and anti-feminism, as it's seen throughout the novel in this dystopian society with the extreme conservative values of a patriarchy, and in contrast to the modern society as Offred flashes back into the pre-Gildean society and how there are still many parallels between the two, which makes us as readers reflect on our own values in our society and think about women's bodily autonomy.